All right. Let's get this poll going. All right, we are live. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Thought I would sit down, do a Q&A, current events talk for you lovely guys and gals on a Friday afternoon. Hopefully we get some people in here. This might be starting off a little slow. Make sure we set it to public. We definitely public. There's the first viewer. Hopefully this goes into people's feeds. I'm going to put up a community tab post. Community tab post. And hopefully this is all good. It is bugging out a little bit on my super chat stuff at the top. Defiant Trill is in. Yo, we back. Did you get a notification, Defiant? I just want to make sure people got notifications. I'm hoping because of that topic, got to get people in here, man. I feel like that was we need a continuation from yesterday. That is worthy of its own topic because I can't think of anything more important than this question happening in YouTube fitness, right? Think of all the stuff going on and ask yourself, what matters more in YouTube fitness out of everything going on and all the drama and all the beefs and all the conversations? Is there anything as important as knowing, right? Who wins in a fight, Cocainebear or Trenaconda? I mean, this is more important than Israel or natural hypertrophy or Jeff Nippard or Peg Watson, any of that. Single most important thing going on out there. Hit that like button, guys. A bunch of people watching, no likes. So I'm going to let people vote on this one, right? This is an important, really, really important topic. And I feel like it needs to be addressed, right? We need to address Trenaconda versus Cocainebear. Like this is up there, guys. This is the single most important thing happening in YouTube fitness. You know why? Because YouTube fitness is completely meaningless. All the nonsense and silliness that happens here is nothing but a bunch of guys on gear trying to sell you supplements. That's pretty much all YouTube fitness is. So we should probably talk about things that actually matter, like Cocainebear and Trenaconda, right? So, also proposed a Rhino Pill Pit Bull as a finale, right? This is the stuff that matters. Sorry, guys, I'm here choking on my own spit. But let's get some other conversations going, guys. Let's see what people want to talk about. Let's let you guys get the flow. Do you sell supplements, Coach? No, I do not. Justin, I do not have any. I currently have no affiliations. I don't sell any supplements. I don't have an affiliate code. I had an affiliate code for about 6 months, a long time ago, and I got rid of it. You know, I had people bring to my attention, they're like, okay, but you said that the protein powders are good, but there's people using your affiliate code to buy scams too. And when that was brought to my attention, I made an announcement video saying I think people were right in that criticism, and I ended the affiliate code and, you know, a little bit of money I was getting from it. They had a valid point when people were buying test boosters and other nonsense, right? Right? That was a good criticism. Why don't we have any likes? Has anyone hit like yet? Or is it just not showing the likes? What's going on with that? It's bugging out on us, guys. The live stream's been a little buggy lately. I don't know what's going on. Okay, because it's not, there it goes. One finally showed up. But Trill says Trenaconda don't want none unless it's got bonds on it. There we go. It's a bunch of guys on gear pretending they aren't gay. Can't nobody with $21 million was single, right? Oh, man. Does he have 21 million? My God. I wouldn't even be. sort of lifestyle I prefer, I wouldn't be able to spend $20 million. There comes a point where it's like, man, how many guitars and guns do you need? I mean, one nice house, maybe a second property. I wouldn't live in expensive states. I couldn't justify anything bigger than maybe any place I would live. I just couldn't see even buying $1 million house. If I had 20 million sitting around, like I just wouldn't use it, man. I don't know. I guess I'd be comfortable. You know, Coach, when you did go to public gyms, did you yell and grunt during your lifts? I put on a show, Justin. Ask anybody who's trained in a public gym with me. There have been many, 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 many people who trained in public gyms with me over the years. I put on a spectacle, right? We're there to put on a show. The whole gym turns to watch when you lift heavy. That's the whole point, right? I'm chill when I train alone, man. If people are watching, we got to make a little noise. We got to have an audience. Well, Trill, keep in mind context. Where do you live, though? You're saying that, but $1 million house in California is not that big. $1 million house in the Houston area is massive. Like that's like a 6-bedroom, 3-car garage. Where I live. Right? I mean, $500,000 can get you a pretty baller house. So yeah, you're in Texas, dude. But we don't have a concept of what $1 million houses are like in other places, man. We're in Texas, dude. I mean, you pretty much have a mansion for $1 million. I run barefoot, Justin. And I'm actually serious when I say that. Like $1 million house in California is average. Like you'll show here like a $400,000 house in California, and be like, dude, that's a $1.5 million house. And we're like, are you serious? Right? Dude, Defiant, they'll pay $1 million for a 3 or 4 bedroom house in certain parts of California. As a Texan, that's hard to get your head around. Bro, like a 3-bedroom, 1 bathroom. It's like a starter house, right? They're about 4 to 5 times the price for the same house, right? Oh man. I really wish my mouse would stop doing that around my thing. Let me see if I can get that unlooped. It keeps catching on the hinge on the side. My computer case. Justin says, at this point, Coach, I want to leave California for Seattle. Why Seattle, man? At this point, owning a house is worth it, but Trill, it's worth it. But I mean, that's a whole different topic. Some of these crazy mortgages right now, though, man. Those mortgage rates the last couple of years have been a deterrent for a lot of people. Right? I wonder how the boat's doing. Can I see the boat? Is he going to let me see the boat? Yeah. Now I can see the whole boat. We got 10 boats. Trenaconda's in the lead, guys. Guys, feel free to discuss Trenaconda versus Cocainebear. Got 50-year mortgage. Yeah, I don't know what's going to come of that situation. Well, they've got to fix the economy, not be talking about 50-year mortgages. Thoughts on daily Cialis soda dose? I don't know. I've never messed with it like that. I don't have thoughts on it, man. I don't have thoughts on it. I guess it depends on what you're trying to do with it. Patty says, you're my inspiration. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Patty. I hope in a good way. I'm your inspiration in a good way. Something I should have learned earlier, though, is Poe's law. Something I've come to realize, we have conversations about me, satire and other stuff. David, good evening, Coach. I'm smashing the like button to the liberal elite in the USA. Things like diversity is our strength. Oh, man. I'm sick of little nonsense like that being rammed down our throats, which doesn't make any sense. Diversity is just diversity. It's not always a strength. It could be a weakness in some cases. Like, it's just silly. It's a very strange concept, isn't it? And it doesn't really actually work. And I'm for equal rights, but that's the problem with ideas like this. It is being sold as a strength. Well, it's not necessary. It's not a strength. Should we argue for equal rights of all people in a society? Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. But that's not the same thing, is it? But yeah, no, the far left do the same thing here. It's the same sort of nonsense. Right? Places, I don't believe in equal rights. I mean, we could make a case for oligarchies, but I was watching a video of a reporter in Birmingham speaking to locals and not a single person interview, which is quite strange. Coach, how does your white privilege benefit you in daily life? Let me tell you, man, it lowered my taxes. It lowered my taxes. What are we compound for? He's asking me, that's my white privilege benefited me. Mercury should be in Gatorade right now, about to checks watch. There you go, Braun. You mentioned the Mercury in Gatorade. No, dude, my white privilege lowered my taxes, man. That's what it did for me. Yeah, which is nonsense. The only case I don't know I could make for any situation where there might have been something that any person would spin as white privilege was the time I got pulled over by the police for a legitimate stop, was heavily armed, let them check out all my guns, and they let me off with a warning. But they also knew who I was. Like one of the officers is like, you're the YouTube fitness dude. But it was kind of funny. I got let off with a warning, though. No, I did an illegal ride on red. It's one of those where, but the thing is, you got to be chill with the cops. Like, this is what people don't get. That's called not being stupid privilege. Like, you get pulled over by the cops and you're wearing a piece. What is the appropriate response? My YouTube privilege, right? One of them did know me from my videos. Yeah, I've seen some of your YouTube videos. It's like, oh Lord, it's like, oh man, this could go good or go bad. When I ask him, I said, is that a good or a bad thing? So, officer, is that a good or a bad thing? And he's like, well, that remains to be seen. Like, I'm with a warning. If you fail the attitude test, you're going to be a long day. But no, in that particular situation, guess how it went down? I had my hands on the wheel. Man, there's two. One of them comes to each window too. Like HPD's finest. And when he taps on it, I crack the window to let it down, and I go, and I'm like, officer, I got my hands on the wheel. He started talking to his officer. I'm keeping my hands on the wheel because I'm wearing a Glock 19 inside my waistband on the right-hand side. I'm going to keep my hands up on the steering wheel until you tell me what you would like me to do. Which, went over reasonably well. It went over reasonably well. It turned into quite a funny situation. Safe to assume every cop is incompetent and frightened of you and act accordingly. Right? So my son goes, I'm standing outside of the club and you think I'm a punk. I know the reference, man. See, did I not nail that? I ain't never scared. I ain't never scared. All right. But have my hands on there. And he's like, he goes, yeah. It's like, well, he goes, going to get you to step out of the vehicle. Keep your hands, up where I can see him. Please step out of the vehicle. He proceeded to disarm me. And then he had the other firearms in the vehicle. It's like, look at my face. This is me, guys. This is Jason Blaha. And then the officer proceeded to ask me, do you have any other firearms inside of your vehicle? Oh, man. Well, I did have other firearms inside of the vehicle. So this may come as a big surprise to all of you, by the way, that I did, in fact, have other firearms inside of the vehicle. Like once we get the other Glock out of the glove box. And then in the trunk, when I had an AR and a plate carrier with level 4 plates and extra magazines, the officer proceeds to ask me, why do you need this much firepower driving down the street? To which I simply pointed at both of their duty belts and said, why do you have 4 extra magazines for your Glock on your duty belt? Said, if you need this much firepower plus your body armor to patrol this street that I live on, then I clearly need the same amount to drive down the street. To which he simply shrugged, like, okay, like what do you say in response to that? So, and I was let off with a warning. Felix says, hit that bench yesterday. It definitely felt heavier checking my logs. It's been about 3 weeks. Okay, you had that pec inflammation the other day. I remember now. Since I benched, but I hit 205 times 9 last time I did 205 times 8 and then did some more sets and no tendon pain. Well, if the tendon pain is gone, that sounds like a good thing. Right. Yeah. Well, I'm saving my card for a rainy day, Justin. Oh, the warning was I made an illegal right on red. I did not realize the sign said no right on red. It was a red light, and I made a right-hand turn after stopping at an intersection that had a sign that said no right on red. Now, that could have been profiling because I think they were stopping every car that made a right on red at that intersection. It was the same street that Lakewood Church was on, by the way, just a couple blocks further over. As because you guys know, because everyone doxed me at the time. Eventually, they figured out where I lived after 4 years. I lived on the same street as Joel Osteen's Lakewood Church. Yep, that Joel Osteen, that dude. My condo was on the same street as his church. So it was the same street, by the way, just a couple blocks further down. Oh, man. Michael Rusk. Oh, we're going to have a talk, man. Michael Rusk. Coach, forgive me for I have sinned. I have not been doing my deadlifts for a long time. I seek forgiveness. My penance begins tomorrow in your name. First of all, I want you to remember, Michael, Jesus does forgive. Father in heaven, please forgive Michael for not doing his deadlifts. He has confessed his sins. He seeks penance in the name of Jesus Christ. So if you will please forgive him, he's asking forgiveness. All right, I think you're good, Michael. But that being said, You need to go do your deadlifts now. Make sure you do them definitely tomorrow. So, the thing that you have to remember when it comes to forgiveness, God forgives, but he does expect you to do better. He expects the effort in return. That's his expectation. He expects you to try. Coach, have you ever slipped on a banana peel? No. I don't think that's a real thing, man. I mean, hypothetically, I suppose, from cartoons. Hypothetically. What else we have going on, guys? Anything else happening here? This is going a little slow. He's got to kick off a little bit better. If God is so loving, why did he give you such a bad childhood? Hey, Blaze, that's its own separate topic. I mean, that's something I personally struggled with a great deal personally. Are we going to turn this into a whole religious chat, I suppose, today? Is that what we're doing today? That was something I struggled with a lot myself. I do feel like, by the way, Blaze, when we turn this into a whole religious chat, I feel like it does put off a lot of the audience, especially this early in a chat. It's not entertaining for people. But I will simply say that this is something I have struggled with and had to deal with on my own. Like, I don't want to turn this into a whole religious day. It's just not good for my channel overall. We can do it on occasion, Justin, I don't have any frame of reference for your question. I don't know about any specific militia groups existing anymore by name, so I don't know the reference. Thoughts on Buddhism saying the striving for a jack physique is the cause of our suffering? What? Well, that sounds like some crazy talk. Back, I would say that is sheer and utter stupidity, because plenty of people have suffering who don't care about a jack physique. So if that is truly what the religion teaches, then you know what I mean? So this is what the Buddha said. His exact words were, striving for a jack physique is the cause of suffering. I very seriously doubt that is the tenets of Buddhism, that Buddha actually said that. Do you say they say that desire equals suffering? Well, that's an objectively provably false statement. If I walk over and shoot you in the foot, does that involve your desires in any way, or are you still going to suffer? So that statement alone is provably false. In fact, I would argue it's quite absurd. Is there any Buddhists in here who can explain this better? Because I don't think you're doing a very good job. So are you Buddhist, by the way? So Blaze, are you actually Buddhist, and is this actually your tenets, or are you just discussing a religion you may not know intricately? I need you to specify this. Okay. So, Michael said, I heard that Lord Jesus rose from the dead on Easter Sunday, so he didn't miss chest day on Monday. Sounds legit. That might be part of the situation. I imagine he was pretty jacked, you know. Yeah. So that's not making any sense to me, anyways. Please. So I don't really understand what you're saying. I suppose we need a Buddhist in here to explain it, that you're not allowed to be a Buddhist if you can't overcome your desires. You're kicked out of the religion, or you're required to not be a. I don't understand. I don't quite understand where you're going. So, in any event, it's a religion I don't happen to believe in, but I don't know if you're representing it correctly or not. So, next. I'm probably not the best person at religious debate, by the way. It might not be an area of expertise for me. There are topics which my knowledge is vast of. The finer details of religious debate and how to do it are not one of them. So we have to admit our weaknesses and wheelhouses, guys. We got to know these things. I was trying to start off a funny with the Trenaconda, but man, I guess we're not going to get it. But I'll have to start another super chat. Coach, where did you go for your last vacation? Trying to determine how we determine what a vacation is. How are we defining a vacation exactly? Because I don't know that I've ever gone on an official vacation as an adult. Makes sense? A trip for leisure lasting multiple days. So, yeah, that's getting into my personal life too much. Yeah. I would rather not answer that question because I had to think of the definition. So, any stay lasting 3 days or longer that is for not business, you're not doing it for income specifically. So, powerlifting meets don't count if it's part of my job. Correct. Okay, I would rather not answer that question. It's too personal. So, next. Right. I'm not really that big of a vacation type of person, to be fair. How about I don't tell you why I don't discuss my personal life? Because I don't want you to know who I hang out with or who I date or where I go or how to reach me or how to find me or how to stalk people in my life. So if I discuss my personal life, do you see where it goes? It creates real problems in the real world. Yeah. Very straightforward. Since I don't have full-time bodyguards for myself and all my loved ones because I'm not a president or something or a billionaire, I just prefer to keep that private. Right? How dare we want privacy? You know. To be fair, I've been told by multiple people, given my own life, that I actually give too much information out. By the way, I've been told by multiple people I give people too much. Whereas I think to my audience, I come across as very secretive. I've been told by people I say 10 times more than I should. I've actually I've actually been scolded for it by multiple people. Hey, Justin, how did you get Big Lenny's name through my filter? I don't want that imbecile mentioned in my streams anymore. I put his name in the filter. You must have spelled it different. I think you showed. I agree, Defiant. I agree. You know. There you go. What I really am careful of, though, is my personal relationships in general. Like, I don't like that online. Right? I don't want people to know who I spend my time with at all. Right? Whether it's friendships or romantic in general. Yeah. So, Justin, I'm probably going to ban you for being a big Lenny fan here in a minute. Like, you guys have to stop with that nonsense. That has no place in the fitness world. It has no place among sane people. Yeah. So, Trill, David always likes to vote. I have Big Lenny in the spam filter, and yet he somehow managed to get through. David's calling for Kapow. We got one Kapow for Justin with this nonsense, because you guys got to stop with this retardation. I'm just going to start. Let's bring retard back. Like, if you're a fan of Big Lenny or Genova, you're basically retarded. So, and I do mean that in a serious way. So we need to bring that word back. Blade David's got a Kapow. Blaze gives a stay. Trill, you voting? JC, was that a stay or a Kapow? Already voted. Oh, so Defiant's got a Kapow. This is 2 channel members with a Kapow. All right, so even if we get another stay vote, this is going to be overridden. All right, Justin, you actually, when I said that, you said, how dare you, you called him a legend. Come on, dude. You've been found guilty of being weird and a retard by a jury of your peers. I sentence you to death. Kapow! Get out of here with this nonsense. Get out of here with your cookie cutter nonsense. This Big Lenny stuff got to go. Just stop. The guy was into lady girls and had sort of weird drug addiction and grew his organs and lived in a pile of filth. You know, I'm sorry, this is not a legend. Like, his home, the guy lived in a pile of disgusting filth. Just stop. That's what scares me, is that there are people who look at that and don't say that, who are still fans, are like, okay, I might have thought he was funny, but you're right, man. That house was revolting. He lived and slept and ate in that. Willingly. Therefore, I'm going to assume that the people who don't note that live in a disgusting pile of squalor and filth with trash and garbage piled all the way up to the windows and stuff. I'm going to assume y'all live like that also, which means that you're mentally ill. You're some sort of hoarder or drug addict, and you're choosing to live that way. You need to get your shit together. And yo, what's up, man? How are you? I'm doing good, man. I had a good workout. I mean, I don't know if you saw it, JC. It was bad. Like, look like an episode of Hoarders, where people just have garbage and food piled up that's weeks or months old. Bro. For example, all my dirty dishes from yesterday, because I had accumulated enough because I cooked in the oven, all went in the dishwasher, and I wiped down my countertops, and all the dirty dishes in the whole house went in the dishwasher. All the trash in the house went out the day before for trash day. All the trash cans in the bathrooms, in the kitchen were emptied and they went out to the street. Right? This is basic stuff as a civilized human being. You know what I'm saying, guys? Same with David's chest and triceps. Good study, Blue. Jackson says, that's my grandpa. Pretty much his garage is a trash bin, except for a Model T Ford. It's cool that you got the Model T Ford, but I mean, I've seen it. I always say less things, it keeps it easier to clean. Hoarding. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're hoarding, it's a problem. And I get it. My office is a little cluttered, but it's not nasty because I have a lot of projects in here, right? Like there's a lot of stuff. But you guys have also seen my living room and kitchen and guest bedroom area and my guest bathroom, right? Because I've gone down the hall before recently. There's no trash, there's no clutter, there's no mess in my home, right? Nothing like that. My countertops are clean, my dishes are clean. You know, we don't, I may not be the cleanest, you know, I don't, you know, clean the windows and stuff all the time. I forget to dust sometimes, you know, but I admit I don't dust that often, if I'm gonna be honest, man. I could stand to do it more. You know, but I actually vacuum and sweep and mop my floors, guys. Like this is just basic stuff. I mean, hell, let's talk about your gains. Yeah, clutter breeds chaos. You know, let's talk about your gains. Dudes are over here wanting to gain muscle. They're like, man, how do you train as hard as you do and recover? Dude, if you live in a pile of filth, that's going to affect your recovery. You're going to get sick more often. You're going to be, you know what I mean? I mean, yeah, 4 kids, that can be hard. You got to get them kids cleaning in, Will. You gotta be on that. Like them kids need to have chores. Just saying, bro, they gotta have a chore list. They gotta have a chore list. We had a chore list, so we didn't get any. We got our little allowances based upon our chore list growing up. You know, we had to take out the trash. We had to wash the dishes. We had to take turns cooking dinner. Right? Cleaning is, well, it's not because my place isn't that, there's not that much, you know, but trying, you know, the teenagers and the littles are too young. I'm telling you, man, you got to get on, Bill. Yeah, true. The kids will try to help. They'll imitate. They'll see what you're doing. They'll try to imitate. You know. I got bored and uploaded a short when my power was out. So people have been like, "Oh, we want to see your places." I've kept it pretty not shown, but so there was no power because the tornado knocked out electricity for half a day. So I uploaded a short of the inside of my home. You know, got some blueberries, bananas, and some almonds. There you go. I want to eat some cantaloupes here later. I did chicken, rice, potatoes, broccoli, a little bit of some Greek yogurt. I did some Greek yogurt with cherries, frozen cherries in it. I'm gonna do a cantaloupe or two here after this today. All right, we're gonna do all that. We got to start another goal. It's not letting me set the timer anymore for these goals. Are you guys even seeing the super chat goals? I don't know. Since it started messing up, I haven't got any super chats. I don't know if it's having a bug or not. No one has said they tried to send one. I have no idea. I have no idea, guys. Is my air conditioner on? Hold on, guys. I'm going to get some water. Check my AC. It feels hot in here. I'm going to get water to be right back. All right. Let's get a quad check while we're up. You guys think? How the quads doing today? The quads of the gods. What exercises you train on volume day on the conjugate method? That is a way too nuanced. I have whole playlists on conjugate. Is it whatever you max out on? No, you do both. So on most of your volume work on conjugate, you're going to train everything a little bit, but you're going to double down, right? You're going to double down on your weak links. Okay? Makes sense, Tola? You're rarely going to do a lot of volume with the actual classic lifts that you maxed on, other than benching maybe. Conjugate's going to look like a bodybuilder program, honestly, outside of the max and DE work. Like it's never, you're always moving in the right direction with conjugate if you take all your supplemental work and it looks kind of like a bodybuilder program. When you take away the max effort and dynamic effort work and you look at the rest of the list for the week, if it starts looking kind of like a bodybuilder program, you're not far off. You're probably going to get pretty good results, assuming you put real effort into the max and dynamic work. That's a big if. That's assuming. Hey, Blaze, I don't understand your question. I've done bro splits on the channel. There can be problems with bro splits in terms of muscle growth, particularly for low drug use or no drug use. We could get into debates of muscle protein synthesis, uptime, recovery, session to session. We could have a lot of discussions about that, Blaze, from an optimization perspective. But to say that I don't like them, I don't think that's a fair statement. Should the Bulgarian method? No. Include the conjugate volume data as conjugate simply better than Bulgarian. Blaze, I don't understand your question. Please ask it a different way. Did I switch from what to what when? I need time frames. Because as I've rotated through training methods over 25 years, I need you to be very, very, very specific about when I switched from one thing to another if you want my reasons. I need you to be very specific. Like when I switched from Bulgarian to something else, whatever years ago, I need you to be very specific. And I may not have an answer for you. Oh, I thought it was recent. No, I've been doing full body a little bit. I ran conjugate. I was on conjugate for a little while again at the start of the year because I tend to go back to conjugate over and over for like 20 years now. I tend to rotate back over to conjugate all the time for phases. I was messing with a bro split last year for a little while, rotated back to conjugate. Quite frankly, I felt like I needed the strength. And then now I've been doing full body for a while since then. I've been doing full body most of the year. Right. I tend to go back to conjugate when I want big maxes because it's fun. Well, no, because just because you enjoy it doesn't, what if it's a bad program? Right. But I will say that enjoyment can be a big factor. Even if a program is slightly inferior, but you really enjoy it, well, there's advantages to that. Right. Doesn't mean you're going to get the best results. It just means that you'll probably get pretty good results. So any good program that you happen to really enjoy, if you have appropriate effort and fatigue management, will work pretty well. But I wouldn't make such a reductionist statement as the best program is the one you enjoy most. Because what if it's a trash dumpster program? You know, or what if it's something too brutal? What if you really are masochistic? My main goal when I was a trainer was to make a client enjoy going to the gym, but of course keeping the big three in there. So okay. You were dealing with fairly novice lifters, so that's a little bit different. Most of my audience are not going to fall into that category, right? Most of your clients probably did. They were fairly novice lifters. Interesting title. We got them boats going. Peppermint. I mean, it's the most interesting and important topic in YouTube fitness this week. I can't think of a single thing more important than the question in the title. Nothing else happening in YouTube fitness competes with that. That's more important than Peg Watson or Jeff Nipples. What are we going to come up with, Dr. Mike? I don't have a name for Dr. Mike. I'm going to have to put some thought into that one. Oh, Panera Sarger. Yeah, we're talking about Mike Israetel. Yeah. I'm going to have to be creative. You know, because keep in mind, man, my names really upset people. What's anti-Semitic? His name is Mike Israetel. That is his real legal name. No, he's not Karate Kid. Cool with anti-Semitic remarks. I'm gonna have to think. We're gonna have to get a good name. Yes, Blaze, that is his real last name, and yes, he is actually Jewish. There. Toilet paper tendons. Hypothetical question on massive roid doses like abusing depot would Bulgarian be the most ideal method on roids? Abusing D-ball specifically? I'm going to take your statement literally. You're abusing D-ball specifically. And you're going to try to squat every day. Have fun with your low back, homie. Mike really got attacked to do something good. Well, I mean, Mike has been attacked for some pretty fair reasons overall. I'm not saying everything he does is bad. Mike does definitely do some good stuff, right? But there are some issues too. That's on the ECA stack. Man, I haven't heard of that in a long time. People still doing ECA stack, fat burning stack. But why are we using fat burners? Yeah, I'm not a fan of this pile. And I think that's the point. Like, I think it's going a little far. Hey, Toilet, but are you assuming that athletes abuse massive doses of roids? It's not a fair accusation, in real sports. They're not bodybuilders. No, Bulgarian has problems. Like, Bulgarian is not workable for the average person. Right, there we go. Dig into some of the guys calling out Mike's totally reasonable. Like, I'm not a big Mike fan either. Let me be clear. I'm not a big fan of Dr. Mike, but I don't hate him either. Does that make sense? I have my positive and my negative views of Mike. But I'm not someone who's like, oh, exactly. I'm not like this dog pile on Mike. And it's like, Toilet paper. So have you run Bulgarian, or do you know anyone who's run Bulgarian? Be my first question, because we could go pretty in depth into that. Because I ran Bulgarian for 7 months on camera. You guys saw it in real time. It was documented. All right. Bulgarian is a psychological selection process. And it's a genetic selection progress. That's the beauty of the program. The program is to be able to take, when you're given full-time lifters, to weed out for certain genetic traits and to cut everyone out of the program. So think of it as just like a special forces selection process. It's a system designed to weed out all non-hackers from career lifters. So the purpose part of Bulgarian is built around is to psychologically break you. Keep in mind who wrote it and why, and who it was written for. Coach Abijayev wrote it. And would you like me to quote Coach Abijayev so that you understand who he was? Abijayev, the Bulgarian head weightlifting coach, said, "You give me a German Shepherd dog and a Kalashnikov rifle, and I'll make anybody a champion." Right? Is being jack helpful to the immune system? I don't know that being jack specifically is. Looking at yeah, I do heard of the 18X. So yeah, you chose combat medic instead. So one of my closest family members, and then it all came out. Trolls figured out, like, oh my God, they saw this stuff. Realized he was super close to me because they saw all the funeral stuff. And his wife said he loved you dearly. So one of the last people to see him alive. One of my cousins was 20 years in SOCOM as a ranger, and I hung out with him the night he died. Like, we were super close. So I've hung out with some of those guys, JC. I know exactly. I know the type that makes it through that selection. So he was in SOCOM. He was a month from retirement, his 20 year when he died. That's a different breed of dude, because I've hung out with him and some of his bros, and that's a different breed right there, man. And it's not what people would think when I say a different breed. It's like the level of don't give a F in the personality types is something else, man. The work ethic is next level, but it's like, bro. No, he was not a SEAL. He was a Ranger. I'm not going to go into any further stuff that he messed with because those are private conversations. I'm just going to say conversations with some of those guys. How do I put this? I'm trying to find a way to describe it in terms of the work ethic. These are guys who will come in and deadlift 600 pounds. Yeah, they were like 600-pound deadlifters. My cousin deadlifted 625. He could bench 405. The level of how hard they would train, and then the ability to party and to just not give an F is dumbfounding. We're talking guys who will go binge drink and have a hangover and then go deadlift 600 pounds and do a 10-mile run with the hangover. That's a good way to describe them, and just not care and just say, fuck it. It's like, it's a different level, man. It's a different breed of dude. That's all I'll say. I mean, it's like really, yeah, man. Okay. But what I will also say, when they got your back, they got your back. You know, it's a type of mentality. But that is the other thing, man. Like, I'll also say there's that kind of that end, but by that same token, it's like, man, their loyalty level. Like if you're their bro, whether it's combat bro or you're their family, you are somebody they care about, their level of loyalty is also at that same level. And that's something I'll say too. Like when they say they have your back, they have your back. Like they're willing to commit crimes for you level of have your back. Like again, it's just so again, it's that same thing. It's that there's that work ethic and that whole ride or die. But my God, can those guys party and then just go deadlift 600 pounds? It's very different. Well, there. I wasn't going to say that. I wasn't going to say anything about them banging some dude's wife in the booty hole and then having a hangover. I was going to leave that part out. But yeah, they'll give their life for you, but don't let your wife around. Yeah, there's that. Um, they be having a girlfriend in a few different cities while married. Um, there's some of that. All right, but I gotta be mental. They knew they put it in the work in to do it. Like Jordan having drinks and cigars and dropped to 50 points the next day. It's a different breed of dude, man. But again, I will also say, if they one of them tells you they have your back on something, they have your back. Like you can take that to the grave. Oh man, it's just a different type. But they select for that in that selection process. You know, but there's definitely a personality type and mindset. You know, endless work ethic, pretty much fearless. But don't put them in certain situations. Testing weeds them out. They got it down to a science, right? But again, that's for those different branches. I would say also the impression you get. So that's a difference too. Having actually hung out and shot with and other stuff with actual rangers, they're not exactly subtle. This is not like as a group. Let's come over to the personality types. It's probably not the best team of guys to sit in if you have hostages that need to come out. They're not particularly subtle. Let's put it that way. They're a sledgehammer. Uh, Kind of like one of those you send them in to get the hostages off the plane. They end up blowing up the whole plane. No survivors. Um, yeah, they're not subtle. There is definitely that. So that's why you have different branches of that stuff with different mentalities and training. Oh man, I have a very complicated question. Go ahead, Bron. Go ahead. But that particular group of guys, having got to know some of them, yeah, I would definitely describe them as a sledgehammer. Um, you don't send them in somewhere unless you just want everything, literally everything destroyed. Like you just want everything dead and blown up. Oh gosh. I had a guy Trent who was in the Army 38 years, mostly reserve, but was a top marathoner for a chunk of that time. He met a client who he trained for running and ended up marrying her. Right? He ran marathons in boots on many continents. Right? So we're going to take quantum physics with the observation of a particle. Right. We can do a time dilation and other stuff there. I love Alex. Alex is great. That came up too because I know Alex and I've video called with Alex. I did an interview with Viata before. He's different. Um, I had another friend who's a coach who knows both of us. He goes, both you guys are crazy and extreme in your own way, right? He's like, you guys have more in common than you realize. As someone who knows both of us, he's like, you're both at that very weird intense with the way you do stuff in your work ethics, and that you think it's normal. Quantum physics states that people observing something can change the outcome of events, right? The classic double slit experiment. So if I'm lifting around competent men and they watch me, does it help? I think that we can make a case for that, Ron. Ron. I mean, as a coach, as an experienced power lifter, um, absolutely. I think that it can. I think it can give you a certain motivation to not push out. Alex Rose and Test Guy Dilla show you after some beers, right? JC, so now he's a retired beekeeper, right? Makes sense. His client's like ex-wife was a Russian nuclear physicist. He was a professor in Illinois now. She apparently gave the lecture to Kremlin. And how many of those spec ops dudes always marry interesting women sometimes, right? They either marry some extreme interesting woman or they got a dependopotamus. Yes, I've learned that term. So you'll be proud of me as a civilian, JC. I know the term dependopotamus. All right. All right. Nikola Tesla and others said frequency, vibration, and consciousness is the secret of the universe after all. We can get into a lot of discussions about that, even things with the backfield of the holographic universe and things computer programmers have looked at. There's a lot. There's a lot to digest in those topics. We'll go, right? My brother's wife was a doctor, also, by the way. She has a PhD. Um, so, and she is actually a veteran also. Deadlift 600 and it goes and runs 20 miles, different breed. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've done full body workouts though and done a 5 mile run after on camera when I was running more. You know, you do what we got to do, guys. It's all just training, man. It's all training. The coach just goes and you just go do it. He was never an operator, but he worked. Okay. Yeah, fair. But that is fascinating, JC. That should be its own case study. How many of those guys end up with women who have PhDs and doctorates and things? I mean, have you noticed that though? I mean, there's quite a few. I mean, what's her name? Gosh, she's on Facebook. That one doctor who does the fitness and protein stuff. Her husband was a SEAL. See if I can find what's her name. That was interesting. Can I find any of her stuff in the feed? If she got anything out. Do you guys know who I'm talking about? She's been like a IFBB bikini chick. She's got an MD. She does all these discussions on protein. What's her name? Dr. Gabriella Lawrence. That's who it is. Right. They can talk to each other, highly intelligent, also going to think they're bad, right? But it's also interesting because you see these very high functioning women, right? End up going for that dude, man, the total absolute alpha male. Because I'm sorry, but let's break it down. If we're going to throw terms like alpha male out there, any dude who makes it through special forces selection, I think we can barely, and how do I put it? We can non-ironically throw that term at them, and no one's really going to say that that's being silly with the term. All right, I mean, come on, dude. Normal dudes don't make it through that process. Yeah, normal people don't make it through that process. It selects physical and then certain mental, like outside the box thinking, and it's totally different animal. But it's interesting as someone who grew up around and watched him grow up, and then you meet the personality types. Before seeing that, I didn't know what that personality type was. And maybe it's not what I would have personally expected. Yeah, it's not those guys who beat their chest and go try to fight everyone too. These guys, yeah. Um, you know, yeah, these guys are cold killers. I mean, that's a good way to put it. You don't want them as your enemy. Like that you can say too. These are not guys who are going to beat their chest in bravado. They're guys who are going to defuse a fight. Right? They're over here diffusing the fight. They're not warning or talking any trash. They're just going to kill you. And when they do it, they're going to hit you with everything they had. It's like, so when we'd be shooting together, he would tell me that. He's like, he would reinforce that, the importance of advancing on someone and finishing them 5 more rounds in them after they're down and making sure that you stomp on their gun hand and kick it away. It's like, that's important. You have to make sure you finish them off, and you got to disarm the corpse. That's basic self-defense, It's like, that's just the mindset. This is how you practice at the shooting range thinking of this, You got to be in that mindset all the time. It's like, yeah, Marset range are pretty scrappy. But it's definitely not like you would think of as, again, standard self-defense type ideas. Like it was, you get the impression then that it's, I'm not going to go into too much detail because of the type of chat here and censoring, but yeah, these are not people who are subtle. There is no, well, the threat is down. No, you make sure. So again, the mentality you get from those guys is like, if you're in a fight, you hit with everything that you have, and you make 100% sure the enemy is dead and cannot get back up or ever get back up, and all his allies are dead and can never get back up. It's like, yeah, it's like you got to put 10, 15 more in him after he's on the ground, and that's what you do. And disarm the body. You know, it's like, and maybe blow the building up. You know, they think like that. Right. And there's no subtlety about it. Again, different breed of dude. Yeah, they're already already disposed of by. Yeah, exactly. Oh man. Yeah, 3 steps ahead. They got it planned out. They're over here diffusing the fight, trying to talk a situation down. Because my cousin had been in at least one situation that could have got bad, and he diffused it with words, calming everything down. People have no idea you know, who he is or what's going on. It was a little neighborhood type scuffle with his dad. He diffused the situation, came out and talked, diffused it. They had no clue what they were dealing with, you know. But he diffused it with no violence and talked the whole situation down. But he had already planned in his head where he was hiding up, what he was going to do with the body if things went bad. Like, he's already got this thought out while he's commonly talking everybody down. You know, be real chill. Just be cool. Be cool until it's time not to be cool. Heard a story about Blackwater contact group made from SF. I know who they are. They literally lined up a group of terrorists, and you're in it. I can see that. You know, I can't retell any of his stories. We had an agreement that what stayed in our discussion stayed in our discussion. So I'm not, even though he's passed away, I gave my word. So we had a trust. So I will not be telling any of his stories ever at all. We kept each other's secrets. Like, he knew things about me, other people didn't know, and I knew things about him. But I won't tell any of his stories at all, ever. But he had some gnarly ones. You know. But again, having been around a few of those guys, that's why when we have those conversations, Peppermint, and people bring up someone like Goggins, I point that out. It's like, Goggins is a horrible person to get fitness advice from. He's a horrible person to get fitness advice from. He's going to destroy your body. You're going to be broken. But, you know, if you needed to take over a small third world country, he's probably your man, you know. But again, if you've been around any of those guys, you do know those dudes are absolutely, you do not want them as your enemy. It's just the best way to put it. You don't want to make enemies out of them, to put it lightly. You just don't. Just not who you want as an enemy for any reason. I'm like, just don't. Don't mess with them. Don't pick fights with them. Give that a healthy respect. It's not gonna go well for you. Not even that they're gonna kill you or something. They're gonna plan and plot. They're gonna have a plan. And they're gonna think it through in vast detail. Just better not. Just leave them alone. Because that's the observation too. Like, look how far Goggins follows everything through he does. You think he follow through plans if you really get on his bad side and wrong it? You don't think he's going to follow that plan all the way through with the same tenacity? Probably would, man. You don't want that. That's to just leave it alone. Yeah, you can't relate to him. None of us can really relate to Goggins. But he's a horrible fitness instructor. He's just going to get you hurt. Will said, yeah, my uncle was E9 in the Navy. All he told me about was the fire John McCain started when he crashed in non-force. So, yeah. Most of them, they don't tell a lot of stories. Or if they do, they're very, very, very selective in who they tell those stories to. Like, they only tell a story if they have a reason. There's always a motivation for the story. And my grandpa, I still have all his shit book. I've got his pictures. I've got all the black and white stuff, his photos from World War II. He only told, my grandma told me when I was a kid, he told me one story from World War II. My grandma said, I've never heard him tell a story. She told me after, she says, that's the only time I've ever heard him tell a single war story. And his wife and mother of his 3 children. I was his grandson, and he wanted me to know one story, and it was a pretty bad story. And it wasn't any story glorifying himself as some great war hero, nothing like that. He told me something that he saw in the story. And, he simply shared this with his grandson. And it ended with, this is why I hate the Japanese and I don't own the Japanese products. That was why he wouldn't allow one of my aunts who bought a Japanese-made car to park it in his driveway. At Christmas, she had to park it down the street. It wasn't allowed in his driveway. That's how he felt about it. So at the end of the story, it was, that's why I hate those devils, and that's why I will never have anything in my home that has been touched by them, including televisions. It's like, okay, so, but he was serious. Like, it was, like, he wasn't joking. He wasn't playing. That's part of the PTSD. But I heard the story, and it was pretty gnarly. But that's the only one he ever told to me. And my grandma said that's the first time. I was maybe 8 years old, 9 years old. And we lived down the street from him at the time. He was like a mentor to me. And she said that's the only one he told. But yeah, he served on a battleship in the Pacific. Without going into further details, they liberated a POW camp that had Americans, Australians, other people in it. And that was his war story. It was about the POW camp. But because of that situation, he couldn't let that go. Like, he did not like Japanese or Japan at all to his grave. Like, wouldn't let my aunt park her Toyota in his driveway at Christmas. She had to park it down the street. Wasn't allowed. Like, one of those, I'll die and go to hell before you park that in my driveway. Oh, man. That's how he felt. Tiger's coach thoughts on the Trump stimulus. I don't think we're going to get it. I mean, hey, it would be nice, but I think maybe we should balance the budget and lower our income tax. There's our stimulus. Less taxes is a stimulus we need. Do you like towel grips, forehammer reverse, girls? I don't know. Yeah. Do I like them or personally? No. Are they effective? I think towels are great grip work. If you need a grip tool and you don't have access to anything else, I think towels are a fantastic grip tool. I don't personally use them. But pull-ups with towels, hammer curls with towels, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, this has been a different chat so far. This is a little different than we're used to. Oh, man. Talking all a good amount of weight, right? And you can definitely do pull-ups with a towel. You can do pull-ups with a towel. Coach, be setting goals. Coach, what do you consider an intermediate dip weight and rep range? I guess I don't feel the need to define a non-competition, non-standardized lift with a strength standard at all. I don't even know where to start on that. Do we need to define that? Is there any reason to define it? Can't think of a single benefit. Why don't you just go do some dips and progressively overload them? So, supers, and the whole thing, the live stream's been slow today. The coffee chat was slow. This is slow. Something's going on. What's happening with my algorithm? Log did okay yesterday. Did that not go up? This vlog should have been up. Okay, yeah, it went up. Well, we got decent views on the morning one when it was settled. Yeah, this one's been slow. Thumbs up, guys. That's right. Hit that like button, guys. Coach, would you make a strength standard for a strict curl? No, I don't think that we can. Peppermint. I don't think that we can really do that. Are you talking? So how are we defining a strict curl? Are you talking about doing a curl strictly, a strict barbell curl, or do you mean the competition strict curl that has world records and competitions? So I would let the federations define their own criteria for that. But as far as what you're doing for hypertrophy purposes, we can't really set a standard because it's going to be based so heavily. It's going to be more leverage based than most exercises relative to limb lengths because it's single joint with a long lever out in front, and people's arm lengths vary a lot. So if we did, we would have to create a strength standard based on limb multipliers. Like we would have to have a division for how many inches or centimeters long your arm is and factor that into the strength standard. To equal relative strength or muscle size between people because it's so leverage based. So someone like me, I would have to have 20-inch biceps to have an impressive strength barbell because my arms are long. But what about a dude with T-Rex arms? He'll probably lift 30 more pounds than I will with the same size arm for the same number of reps, with the same force production at the tendon, right? So it's really a problem on single joint exercises involving a limb. It's very hard to set strength standards at all from person to person. It'd be very difficult because of that limb length is a much bigger factor than on multi-joint movements. Titus, so I'm gonna change your question all the way down. You ready? Thoughts on any human being, name any person. Would you travel to X country to train with X person? The answer to that is no, universally across the board. Every country, every person. How easy was that? I will not travel to another country to train with another person if invited. I won't renew my passport for that purpose. My passport's currently not renewed. At this time, I have no intentions of renewing my passport. My passport's expired. I do not have plans to renew my passport. Become a Russian and renounce Texas. All right, we're up for a kapow. You've asked me to renounce Texas. I'm serious about the kapow. Kapow or stay. Vote. Well, you better apologize before we get the first kapow vote from a channel member. Peppermint gives a stay. I didn't see an apology. I give a kapow. We're 1 for 1. I didn't see an apology. I didn't see you apologize to the great Republic of Texas. You may have figured out I'm pretty patriotic. And it's not a joke. It's not bravado. I'm actually dead serious about my patriotism. Sorry, Texas. There we go. I'm going to let you live. All right, next. There we go. All right. Asking me to renounce Texas, the motherland of my birth. All right. All right. Not having it. Right. People from America know already. They're like, dude, he wasn't. They're like, he's born in Texas. He was raised. He's like, he's dead serious. Like other Americans are like, oh God, this dude just went there. What about France? France can eat a bag of dicks. All right. No, I don't have a problem with France. Why would I don't want. So let's come back over to my other point, Tychus. If I don't have a passport, how can I get dual citizenship? With my outrageous French accent, you mean natural hyposophie. Hello, YouTube. Here's a party. It is natural hyposophie. And today we're going to talk about Jason Blé with my outrageous French accent. That guy, huh? Want to eat the croissant? Man. No, I don't have any issue with the French. I knew a girl in my extended circles from France. She's from France. She's one of my sister's friends. Yep. Coach, so do you think the rumors about NH and strap-on are real? Been doing more digging on Reddit. What are they saying on Reddit, Tychus? I'm kind of curious. I think they might be real. Like all that, I know I can joke about it and troll, but it's funny because I think there's at least a small chance it is true. That's why it's so funny. Because we could see it being possible. Makes sense? It's one of those where you go, it might actually be true. Yeah, take care of Pepper, man. It might actually be true. That's what I heard. They deported him back to Algeria. This is the rumor. He's been deported. You know, unless Cubby's hiding him, right? Cubby might be hiding him up there in the attic, hiding from Trump and ICE. You know, old Cubby and Frenchie. Cubby meaning Alpha Destiny. It's Cubby. And we have to go there. It's because he did the whole bear mode thing. We're going to do the bear mode, guys. Oh my God. And it's like he doesn't even get it. You know, that's the funniest part. He did that whole bear mode thing, but then he comes out and talks about being against degeneracy. And it's like, but he called TRT degeneracy. Like, bro, you literally did a whole bear mode thing. I mean, you know, and marketed it as bear mode. Oh my God. Good old Cubby. Man. Oh well. Oh, YouTube fitness, why you so cray cray? YouTube fitness is cray cray. Luke is not in the live stream, but he's posting on Facebook. He is one of my channel members. He is literally posting on my Facebook stuff right now. I just asked him under his comment. I just replied to him, why are you not in the YouTube stream, Luke? Recently. No, dude, we all know when he went on almost a decade ago. You could tell he had that whole D-ball boom face happening. Come on now. You don't really think he was natty. You don't think any of these fitness influencers are really natty, do you? If so, then I have some real estate that I'd like to sell you. All right. I got some real estate for us to talk about. Hold on, I got to make a Facebook post over here. True, most of them are juiced to the gills, right? Absolutely. They are juiced to the gills. Uh-oh, wait, I double hit that picture. We don't need it twice. Give me a second here, guys. I'll get right back to you. Right. Castleberry, remember him with the fake weights? He was legit strong though too. Like, so the thing you got to think about with Castleberry, yeah, he obviously did some fake weights, but Castleberry is also actually legit strong on real weights too. Like he's still at an elite strength level, but there was some fake weight stuff. I mean, but realistically, could Castleberry probably legit squat 600, legit bench 405? Absolutely. On the step build, but the title tempted me. The title tempting people kind of. It's been a slower day though, man. We've had some good conversations in here, but it's been a completely super chat free day of all things. It's been weird. I don't know if they're broken. It's been doing something weird with the timers. I don't know. It might not be working. Actually, no for sure. But yeah, the views are a little slow. I thought that title would really get people in here, but at least we got a vote. And I think it's an important topic, to be fair. I mean, we've had 33 votes. So we got 33 votes. So there's been more people through here. Never mind. I appreciate it, Connor. I guess the super chats are working. At least, hey, I feel vindicated. We got one for the day. So we're good. Because it keeps, if you notice there's 30-minute timers, it's not letting me set the timer. It's not letting me set the numbers. It's only letting me put the message. So it's really weird. And it's been doing that the last couple of streams. It started doing it yesterday afternoon. So appreciate it, Connor. Thank you for testing it out and letting me know. So I'm just making sure. So it's just people haven't been given them today. So it's cool. It's so hit or miss. You know, it's like, how do I put this? The funniest one, like the other day, right? The other day, like I had $78 in super chats in a single coffee chat. You were there for that one. I had another $12 in super chats in the afternoon one in the same day. Like what? And then the next day, zero, not one, not a single penny anywhere. It was really strange. It's like so unpredictable. Yeah, that old fan, he gave 20 quid twice, but then like other people kept at it. That guy came in and said, hey man, you wrote a bunch of stuff that helped me back in the day. He dropped 2 of them. So yeah. And those are about $24 in US dollars a piece. He dropped 2 of them, you know, and it's weird. Like you just never know. Never know. But the whole day they were just down over and over and over. Like they were just back to back to back. And they were all in like the 3rd hour. Right? That was a crazy long stream. And they didn't make any money other than ads. And we had good chats. And when it got really funny, then we started talking about crazy stuff. And talking about all the pepper farts and ghost pepper burning the butthole, Carolina Reapers. Everybody just started dropping $1 and $2. They added up. It was ridiculous. So you never know, man. It's hit or miss. So there have been more people in here than I thought because 33 people voted. We only got 14 viewers right now, but 34 people voted. So far, Trenaconda is winning. Yeah, I can't eat hot stuff. I'm back with my finger on the kapow button. Well, we had one and we didn't vote him off. So regular in here, semi-regular. You missed it, David. He got a tie and he apologized though. He apologized. He told me that I should be a coach in Russia, that I should become a Russian citizen and renounce my Texas. It's like, no, dude, we're not having it. I'll also appreciate it, David. Thank you so much, sir. So those are all flowing in. But yeah, dude was in here talking about, he apologized to the state of Texas though. So we let him stay. He did apologize. So man, I don't think he understands I'm pretty patriotic. You know, I'm not saying I will always live in Texas forever. You know, it may not. There's a couple other states I've thought about, at some time, living in, but I think people would be surprised. I'm not going to say which ones they are. I think people would be shocked at least one of them. Yeah, the super chats are like a butterfly effect. Once a big one hits, they just steamroll. And then I can go a day or two. Like that happened. So that happened like a couple of weeks ago. I had like a $50 day. and then like 2 days, nothing. You know, I'm not going to say what states they are, but I think one of them would surprise people. And one time I planned on living there, you know, but so, you know, where do you live, and Will? Are you in Missouri or are you somewhere else? Where are you at, homie? Oh, you're in Las Vegas. Nice. I do know some people out that way. Any comment saying coach should move to this country or pursue a different career? Exactly. Like, why do you guys think I need a different something not related to in any way to my current business model? You should go be a football strength coach. It's like you should run a gaming stream. Y'all ninjas serious? Are we having this conversation? Where in the UK did you live? I was in Cheltenham. I was in Cheltenham for 3 years. Oh, we over there in Gloucester, mate. Gloucestershire. Right by Gloucester, in the county of Gloucestershire. That's not confusing. You guys aren't confusing at all in the UK, man. No, not even remotely confusing. There's a lot of shires. That's all I'm going to say. Y'all love your shires there, all over the place. I'm very disappointed with the number of shires there and a lack of hobbitses. That's where the signals agency is based. I'm very aware of this, David. Greetings from Western Berkshire. What's going on, Luke? Luke in the house, man. Like, you got to be part of this vote, Luke. Like, you're over here as a regular member and you over posted on my Facebook and didn't see that we were voting on Trenaconda versus Cocainebear. Everywhere's a shire. And so where's all the hobbitses, man? So I was in that country and I lived in one of your shires and I did not see any hobbitses. Really, it's false advertising. Now, to be fair, there was strawberry jam and stuff like that. So that was, okay. It's kind of the shire. You know what I mean? But there was a distinct lack of hobbitses. Appreciate that vote there, Luke. It's appreciated. So I don't know what's up with those shire folk. I'm just shocked we couldn't turn you into a tea drinker. Well, to be fair, my dad's family are tea drinkers here, and I didn't like it. But I grew up on the sweet tea, and I didn't care for it. Texas, they do sweet tea, which is all this sugar added. It's all iced tea. Texas is big on iced sweet tea. And you guys drink that hot tea with your Earl Grey. We drink our Earl Grey and we eat our Grey Poupon with it. Right? Very proper. Right? I've never been a big tea drinker. Right? Iced tea, blasphemy. Texas is big on iced tea, dude. But we do cook a mean cow. Even Gordon Ramsay came here and his whole guys as chefs, they ate at one of the famous Texas barbecue places. There's a clip of it, and they were just like, have you seen that? Gordon Ramsay reviewing Texas barbecue. It was nothing but praise, right? And let's keep in mind, dude, if Gordon Ramsay says your food is good, right? If Gordon Ramsay says your food is good, doesn't accuse it of being too burnt, right? And the flex when they're describing the spices to him, right? But the brisket, they're like, oh, it's all about the wood. We only use salt and pepper on this. And the look on his face, like, you know, yeah, the Dallas Mavericks coming in. So there's your context when even Gordon Ramsay comes and has like one of these famous Texas barbecue houses, like out in the sticks. And he's just like, this is some of the best food I've ever had in my life. Like when he went there, they're just like, yeah, you know, when he has nothing but praise and the look on his face as he's eating it, it's just like, wow, there's more. You're bringing more. Yeah, food's fairly cheaper. Flat bench versus dips for overall chest development. Benjamin. Um, do I have to pick one? I think they're both extremely solid choices, to be fair. I think you can't go wrong with either one for that goal, honestly. They're so comparable. His daughter's getting married soon, Olympic swimmer. Okay. Let me see if I can find the clip. I'm going to help you guys. I'm not pimping other channels. Sometimes you have to. Barbecue. Yeah. There we go. I'll watch it with you guys. Hold on. Let me link it. Let me put my headset in so I can hear it here. I'm going to link it and then I'm going to watch it with you guys. BMW, appreciate the super chat, man. I'm about to link. So I've got all these Brits in here. BMW, as a Texan yourself with family in the Brenham area. So you're local. We could be related. We could be distant kinfolk. This is Gordon Ramsay reviewing Texas barbecue for these Brits so that they understand that even Gordon Ramsay's like, this is some of the best food I've had my whole life. I just linked it. I'm going to listen to it also. So that we can discuss this as a group. Okay. So I'm going to watch it with y'all. All right. Let's get a feel for this. Hold on. I got to unmute it. All right. So there you go. Right. So those sort of stuff, my dad's family barbecues with those sort of grills. So if you see the setup there, those big hand welded giant tanks, that's like my dad's family barbecues like that. No, I don't. I don't game. I only paint my miniatures, but I haven't gamed in many, many years. Jordan Ramsay went to Snow's Barbecue in Lexington. Yep. I know exactly where Lexington is. Keep in mind, I spent the first 7 years of my life in Dime Box. So I obviously know where Lexington and Giddings are, and I know them very well. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Just some random question. Do you think being a travel agent would be a good job? I have no idea. Yeah. Yeah. But here's the thing. She's 84 and still grilling. You got to look at that and go, how many decades of experience I've been jamming. Yeah, I still play. I got my Gibson Les Paul and my Fender Strat right there, honey. Like, I don't know anything about travel agents at all. And I could be wrong, but I don't think I know any travel agents. I could be completely wrong. I don't know of any that if I know somebody who's a travel agent, they haven't told me. So out of my wheelhouse. Right. The same stuff. I haven't had time to learn anything really new. I've been mostly messing with AC/DC stuff. Although, speaking of Metallica, as funny as it sounds, I know I haven't watched many good movies at all lately. We were talking about TV shows this morning, though. We were talking about Battlestar Galactica, the good and the bad seasons, Game of Thrones, all that this morning. I might sit down and learn Whiskey in a Jar, even though I know it's a cover. Probably would sound better on my Strat, though. Do that Boss DS1 might be what I got to run it. But yeah, no, I mean, those old people, Solo Hot Chocolate. I don't know that one, man. I don't even know that song, man. Right. But back over to talking about these old people barbecuing and cooking. The best barbecue is always by somebody over 50. Yeah. Snow's Barbecue, they're the only open once a week, Saturday, and they draw a line that's, yeah. So a lot of those places are like that. We had one like that was only open 2 days a week. Right. We had one like that down in the Upper Kirby area that was open only 2 days a week, and it was the same way with the old school smokers, the hand welded ones. You'll understand the poll is Trenaconda versus Cocainebear, man. Who wins in a fight? Trenaconda. Think about it. Cocainebear, there's a movie. Trenaconda. It's a anaconda that's been given trenbolone acetate. Who wins in a fight? Yeah, it's a long cook time. So again, we got how many Texans we got in here? Emil knows a little. We got BMW Texas. He is from the same region of Texas that I am, so he's a local. So to understand Texas brisket, it's like they say, we get a high quality meat and you don't over season it. It's about the slow cook. It's that. So when we say it takes a long time, like we're talking more than 12 hours. sometimes. So our smoke process in those smokers for Texas style brisket, it's a slow cook. And you smoke it until there's a bark. So it stays juicy all the way through the middle, but there's an actual bark and a crispy crust on the outside of it. And it's a very, very slow cook. So that's what he had. That's what they were eating. It's until the fat's rendered. So you cook it until the fat turns into gelatin. So the fat in it turns soft. And when the connective tissue turns soft, so all the tendons through the brisket lose all their chewiness. So it's got a hard bark on the outside when it's done, but the inside falls apart. So even all that connective tissue and tendon in there is cooked long enough, slow enough that it turns into gelatin. So once you bite into it, it starts falling apart. Okay. So this is how we do it. That is kind of our secret. So it's all about the woods. So but true aficionados are very picky about their woods. And you used to eat junk food. I don't know. I'm not that familiar with Taco Bell's the only one of those I actually really know. I ate Taco Bell when I was younger and in high school. Yeah, Central Texas is Post Oak Woods. But mesquite, a lot of people did certain other parts of Texas will do mesquite. Some people will do hickory. But it's different mixtures. But it's like he's saying the Central Texas, yeah. So those guys there, a lot of those do Post Oak. So, but it's a flavor difference. It's a flavor difference. You like charcoal or propane? I prefer charcoal. I can cook pretty good with charcoal. To be fair, I can cook pretty good with propane. I mean, but do you want to do it right? Charcoal is going to give better flavor. I mean, don't get me wrong. I can grill with propane pretty good, but charcoal is going to tend to be better. I like mesquite too, personally. Charcoal and mesquite, for me personally, that's what I'm grilling. If I'm picking, yeah, for the flavor. Hey guys, I think I do need to wind this down. I love you guys, but I got to get my last bit of meal for the day. So if you know who he is, he's not natural, automatically Benjamin. I don't even need to look him up. You know who he is? Not natural. Yep. All right, guys. It's about time to wind this down now. Let me give you guys a bicep shot before we go. Mount Bicephus. We're out of here.